live here, so.
Go live.
Still on clean.
Go live.
Keep it in.
Gotta get here early, get a seat in the back.
Yeah, it's like church.
Okay, I call this meeting of the Common Council to order. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, God, thank you for those that have chosen to serve this city. And we ask this evening as we go into this meeting that you guide our thoughts and guide our decisions, that we make the best decisions for the city of Huntingburg. These things we ask. Thank you. Everybody's got the minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the minutes.
We have a second.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approval of claims. You had a chance to review the claims.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
We have a second.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you. We have only have one thing on the agenda. We have Dustin Schmidt with he is on our Board of Public Works as well as on our Parks Board. Has a welding business and we may seek some work to be done through here. We've got a shortage on welders right now in the Huntingburg area. But prior to that, we did ask him to submit a conflict of interest form, as well as we asked the park board to approve that and present at the park boards in a minute. It's here today, not necessarily for approval of the conflict of interest, but just as a have it in the minutes that it has been presented to the board that he presides over.
No action to need.
No, I just needed to receive it in the minutes that you've received it. The mayor as the appointing authority has approved it. And that would enable the city to enter into contracts with him. And there'd be no conflict of interest.
And I also have to take it to the state board of accounts and.
I think you do if you enter into a contract with him, but right now there is none. I mean, but before a contract is actually entered into, or when it's entered into, it has to be recorded with the state board of accounts.
Will they have to do it for every contract?
Yeah, technically.
Yeah,
It probably just day-to-day work, he wouldn't have to. It's just if he doesn't be in a contract.
No, it's for any. It's for any contract that any work that we pay him for. So it might not be a bad idea to go ahead and pre-fund.
Some people do it in advance of their contracts, and I
Right.
mean, I don't know if that's it.
For maintenance work or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know how frequently be using Mr. Schmidt's business, but if you think it might be on multiple occasions, then yeah, maybe you should pre-file.
yeah. Talking to the Parks Department and some of the other departments, they do have frequent needs for a welder, and they've lost use of a welder here locally, and so they probably will be using it for small projects.
Well, there's more than qualified, that's not the problem.
Sure. We were gonna have this under citizens items, however, I know that we have Malia that may have to leave early today. We have two members, if it's kind of come out of order, if you don't mind today, that are here for the Mayor's Youth Council. They have a project that they're going to do. I know I said you probably surprised you here by putting you at the beginning. But are you, we have Ruth or Malia? Do either of you have something you want to present?
Sure. Do you want me to go over there?
Sure.
Okay.
Just introduce yourselves and talk about your project.
All right. My name is Ruth Shear. I'm a senior at Southridge High School and I'm president of the Mayor's Youth Council. And
I'm Leah Deering, I'm a freshman.
Malia is a regular attender to the council meetings and reports back to the youth council on the activities here.
so basically one of the projects that we've been working on the past few years as the youth council is we've had that land donated on Veterans Parkway a couple of years ago, and it was kind of given over to us to decide what we wanted to do on it. So we thought of proper use of it would be to turn it into a community garden. It's a great location next to Hunter's Crossing and all of those houses over there. So we want to currently plans, there's a parking lot, a gravel parking lot there. And we're putting a 50 by 50 feet community garden right next to it. It'll be fenced in. The fence is already donated, but now we're gonna be needing the tools to actually, put this community garden, make it, functioning and running. So we're basically asking the community members if they could donate this weekend on Saturday, March 2nd and 3rd. And we will be needing rakes, shovels, trowels, watering cans, gardening gloves, pruning shears, wheelbarrows and spades. And we have a few different churches, as you can see on the list, that will have a bin there accepting donations as well as in front of the city hall. And basically community members can come drop off any gardening supplies they might want to donate. And having donations will allow us to have like more of a community bin available at the park that anyone can use the supplies versus having more of a bring your own or a locked shed versus this is gonna allow, anyone to use the supplies and not, need that. But we're planning on having 8 beds, 4 by 20 feet approximately, built out of cinder blocks, because the nice thing about that is that there's the little holes in the cinder blocks that you can put herbs and whatnot in, as well as it does not deteriorate compared to wood. So that's kind of in the plans right now, and as a council, we're looking at construction during our spring break, which is the last week of March. And I'm sure if we end up coming with some dates that community members will be able to come out and help construct the actual garden beds. But currently this is just what we're asking of the community. So I know it's been posted on several social media pages, but we're just asking that you spread the word. And if there's any people interested in donating larger items such as benches or sheds, we will definitely be willing to take that. So I have an email at the bottom of the page. If anyone needs contact information about donating a larger item.
We will have a bin set up in front of the garage back here. Front of the transit garage in that area. That'll allow people to safely get off the street. Won't be directly in front of City Hall, so to speak, but it'll be out there.
Good.
And yeah, this would just be, I think, something that I know a lot of community members have shown interest in. So it'd just be a place for both youth and adults to come and try gardening, or maybe if they don't have the space in their own lawns, they can do it there.
So will this be like a rented, like where they will rent plots, or you just go and you kind of stake your claim and then you garden those areas, or how will it be divided up?
We're thinking about just having like a stake your claim. That way that kind of removes like a middleman from needing a point of contact to rent out a space. This would be like a free for all. We thought about putting up stakes with kind of like outlines, like I'm sure you guys have seen yarn that's placed on top of the beds that kind of separate the plots, and that way someone can know, okay, I'll try to stick to my area of the plot. But that's just kind of been running ideas, because we're trying to make this more of a self-sustained area. And, if we want to plan community days where community members can just come out and, do whatever they want. But, we're trying to make this a self-sustained project.
There is a master plan for the entire area, so I think, future there'll be butterfly gardens and other parking areas that'll be maintained, and our street department will be leveling off that area here pretty soon. As soon as it gets dry enough and nice enough that we can make that happen. So
We're trying to make it so as future Mayor's Youth Council members can add on to it. So it's not just a one and done.
Yeah, like adding wildflower across like the hill and putting a little walking trail, or having trees put up around the perimeter so it blocks any view of the surrounding houses.
Thank you.
Very good.
thank you, ladies. We have Energy Superintendent John Rudipola. I think he has some.
Gas department. So. Human services this month. Have 2 applications on file. You can see in the picture I sent to the council. When we put new service in on First Street, we dug down to the 4-inch main to put a new tap on. Not only did we dig up the old tap from the house from probably 40 years ago, there was a repair clamp right beside it. And that is a bolt-on repair clamp, which is now by federal regulations considered a temporary repair clamp. Anytime we run across one of them, or we install one, they got replaced within a year. Then you got a leak survey every month, documentation. So we had to, well, the line stopper on each end of the 4-inch. Cut us about a 2-foot section of the main out. Weld it back in, then we put the new tap on. That took a little extra time, a little extra money, but we didn't have a choice, we had it switched out. So
Between Washington
First Street's a new
and New
main. Washington and Origin.
Argent, that new construction there. Mhm.
You'd say it's all bolt on, probably been there 40, 50 years.
Yeah,
Due to new regulations, it's just considered temporary now. So we have to cut it out.
all right.
Then the crews did change out 11 meters with new census meters, changed out 95 smart points. As you can see, we're right around, right now, we're about 2,200. Currently, got like 3,845, so getting there 2/3 changed out. And Boonville, we sent another 180 of the old Itron modules to them. We're taking all we can give them. Like I say, this is what we sold each of them for. And year to date, that's the total we've received from Boonville so far for the old modules. I know for Pam and I know the new mayor, you know, smart points, you kind of know what we're talking about.
I think because that helps with whenever you guys to not have to have like a meter reader or something, but yeah, sure, that would be great.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
This is a smart point. It goes on the meter. This is a register. This is what we take off, is the Itron. It's when they can go by with a handheld and they can read it from the truck or what have you. This goes to the cloud,
Okay,
so we don't have to send anybody out to read it. As you can see, you can pop this off. I'll pass it around. They got a battery in them and a little computer board, and they're all in a gel. This is what they're getting for $20. So you can see they're kind of weathered.
Yeah.
And this is new.
What do those things cost new?
Which one?
That you get your hand,
About $100.
really?
And supposed to be good for 20 years.
Mhm.
But Boonville has this, and they have a lot of them, they're going out each month. They've had them for quite a while. And I'll change them over to the smart points yet.
They're trying to hold their own until they get there.
Yeah.
Good deal.
A lot lighter than I thought it'd be.
See what it looks like inside.
oh geez, yeah, that's how it goes in our house. Oh,
Get one of those tape at work.
just spinning all crazy.
Inside comparable to that, yes.
Any way to hook this up backwards?
We just gotta take the register out of that one and put it into the.
We're live.
We're live, gentlemen.
All right.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh, man, was that my?
Yeah,
Them going to the landfill.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's, and I'm sure they really appreciate it too, that,
they get a few more years out of it before they can get themselves up to the next level.
thank you
That's
for
good.
bringing that.
You can take the landfill, things like comments.
Nope, can't do that anymore. Now you gotta pay to get rid of them.
Lithium
so.
battery in it too, it looks like.
So.
Well, good work finding that, yeah, thank you.
and the other part of the crew, they've been inspecting inline service valves and the critical valves, for proper operations and make sure not to put up the debris in case we gotta shut them off in emergency. We want to dig the debris out and try to find the cap turned off. We've been working on that. Should do it for the gas. Any questions? Moving on to the electric. We put 3 new services in. Then we replaced an old primary pole that feeds the St. Mary's complex, the church, the maintenance building, the whole deal, the pole on like 3rd Street. It's in the mid-80s and it was getting rotten at the bottom, so we did have to schedule an outage with them. And we had to get that replaced, which went off real good. And then just south of the airport on County Road 200, we replaced which I do have a picture. Replaced it with one of our ductile iron poles, deemed it a critical pole. It's got reclosers on it. And that feeds pretty well the St. Henry area. So we had to take the switches down, place the pole, plus it's dead ended right there, so took a little extra work to get that done. Reclosers, what they do, if there's a animal on the line or a line comes down St. Henry, it will kick the circuit out right there before it goes back into town. And it will reset itself 3 times before it kicks out and stays out. So if you have a wind hit the line and bounce off, it'll reset. Like you may see the lights flash just for an instant, come back on. It's more likely a recloser kicked it. So we didn't have to send trucks out. So it's kind of a neat system there.
Is that when I lose all the data that I'm working on my laptop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see 3 flashes and it goes out, and there's the main problem. If it's just a hit, it should kick everything back on. And they did set 2 poles. It's a 3-phase setting at the tech building in Southridge. I think they got some of the tech equipment out there. We had to build a setting for it.
Yeah, if you're unaware, both Toyota and OFS have tech areas out there where they do simulation of their training really people to get ready for jobs in those
So they
areas.
got, I guess, some 3-phase equipment donated to them.
Yeah.
Similar to that, so we built this setting, and while we were out there, we set a couple new poles. And the crews are doing audits of all of our electric poles. All the communication lines, fiber lines going on. We really thought it was necessary. We need to audit the poles, see what all kind of communication lines on here. But once a year, we do bill these companies for pole contacts, so we want a good, accurate count. And we want to have proof because our poles are now numbered. So we will go, we got a spreadsheet. So we can just go on our GIS, get a spectrum column and show all the poles that the spectrum line is on. So if they have any questions, we can say, hey, here's the poles numbers and what your lines are on. So kind of have something back up. And that's going to take a while. We got over 3,600 poles. We'll go to each pole, try to identify all the communication lines on it. And we did replace the batteries in our central sub. We had them ordered back in June, came in last month. We shut the central sub down, changed all the batteries out. Took the batteries over to the recycle center. In the quote, it was quoted like $900 to send it back to where we got them. So we got a hold of solid waste over there, so they took them for nothing. So it saved us like $900 on our bill.
Yeah.
And then we got that all back on, running good. Any questions on the electric?
Very good.
Very good.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Water Superintendent Jerry Alston.
Evening.
We'll jump into distribution. The street department's been working on a new sidewalk project on 8th Street. We had 5 water meters that were getting up in the middle of their sidewalk, so we went out and relocated those water meters to keep them from becoming tripping hazards. We had repaired a water main break at First Street in Maine, just on the south side, more or less. Then we had a customer south side of town here that's using more water for their horses. So we went out there and installed a sewer deduct meter for them. Just allows them, since their water usage is so much more, they're able to deduct that sewer charge off their water price. There's a lot that goes into that as far as how many cubic feet of water a month they have to use and things like that. So it's just for usually the high use customers. The city years ago they adopted a summer sewer program. So they kind of went away from sewer deduct meters for residential homes. So every summer, the whole community gets a discount on their sewer. So that's why these sewer deduct meters aren't very common, mainly commercial buildings and large water uses.
So in order to be eligible for what he's talking about, the customer has to be able to prove that the water he uses cannot get into the sanitary sewer system. And he has to use at least, I think it's 7,500 cubic feet a month on average. And if that's the case, then he can install a meter to measure how much water is going to that particular use and deduct that from his total water use. And that is the amount that he pays sewer on. Of course, he pays for all the water he uses, but he pays sewer on a reduced amount, only the amount that can get into the sewer.
Yeah.
And we do something similar to that though, for all customers in the summertime. We say your sewer bill will never be more than, or your water usage, your sewer, that your sewer is based on will never be more than 125% of your wintertime average. So that encourages people to water gardens and wash cars and whatever. That water does not get into the sewer system. But I did have a question. I assume that installing that deduct meter is at his cost.
Yes, that is at his cost. He does get a bill for the meter, for the radio, and all the material and everything used. We did have a water main break on Highway 231 in front of the Fairmont Cemetery. I did include a couple pictures of that. Just so happened to be right on the road edge, and shared a picture of the water actually coming out of the ground that a resident sent in, and then a picture of the hole that was actually in the side of the water main.
Wow.
It looks like a tiny one. Just look at it. It looks like a tiny one.
Yeah.
It's like a geyser.
Right, yeah, it's the water main, it looks to be in really good shape there, and for that to be a perfectly round hole, it almost makes me believe there used to be like a service there at Corp Stop.
Oh.
That had blown out. Usually anytime a water main breaks, it's a 360 crack or a large chunk of main that comes out very rigid. Not something that's perfectly circular like that.
Interesting.
And from there, we did haul our sludge from our drying beds to the wastewater facility. I believe we might have spoke about that last month as well. We got all that finished up and cleaned up. And then the other picture there that I included way back when water was first a thing in Huntingburg, potable water, they used curb stop valves. They usually set at the road edge. They had a riser on them, and that's how you shut the water off to the homes. Since then, the city has got away from those and went to a valve in the meter pit. A lot easier to find. The curb stop boxes usually get full of dirt and debris. So whenever they retired a lot of those boxes, they pulled the boxes, left the valves, and hope nothing would happen with them. We do occasionally come across these where the valve has failed and does leak. So when we find those, we cut them out and replace them with new pipe and get them all plumbed back together. And then we did have another water main break on Highway 231 across from the old Tasty Freeze there at Fairmont Cemetery. this past month as well. And then, other than that, we've been back to our lead and copper potholing, patching and dirt work. We're trying to stay up with that. Glenn Kissling gave us a great product to be able to go back into the road. So we're able to patch them as we go now versus putting plywood plates, patches over them or cones until we get to that point. So we've been fortunate enough to be able to repair those as we go instead of leaving them until we get a large amount to be able to get a trailer load asphalt in. Other than that, that's it for distribution. The filter plant is running as it should. And our metering system, this Monday, we finally started, I don't have it on here, I did this before Monday. But we've finally started receiving our large diameter meters. So all of our residential meters have been replaced. Anything, our commercial meters up to an inch size have been replaced. And then once all those were done, then we'll start on our commercial meters or large diameter meters, anything 1.5 inches and above. So the guys did get 2 of those installed since Monday. That'll be kind of a slow process. We have to schedule with companies to make sure we can have their water off. They take a lot longer to remove and install. So we'll be a slow process to get those done, but we will get those completed as well. Other than that, that's all I have.
So will this system be like the gas system where everything is kind of in the cloud and
Yeah.
computerized?
Yep. We don't, I want to say we've got roughly our water, I know they read St. Henry water meters for wastewater, but our water meters, the last time we looked, we've got 62 is all John's guys read as far as water goes. The rest of it's been replaced and they read via our AMI system. And so hopefully the last amount of them are these commercial meters. So once we get these put in, he won't have to mess with us no more.
Well, and it's nice for the customers too, that
Right.
leak. Because that happened at our house where we had a leak and we had no ideas. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah.
History of those meters, Steve and I have been on, as long as we've been on every year, meters been topic of discussion.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Meters.
We've hopefully solved our meter discussion.
Yeah.
So it's, the system had its hiccups at first and we, the last probably 3 or 4 years, it's been great. It's the billing department, they don't seem to mind it anymore. We've got the new dusted off of it and it seems like it's working well. So hopefully as we continue on, it's only gonna get better.
I do think the technology is quite impressive. I know they used to have to keep notes on meters and things, and this house has an unusually high usage or whatever. Now it's electronic. They can just look at it and see if there's something going on. It does all the data for them, so.
Yeah.
And your meters are the worst, I guess, to read,
They are,
because
they're
they're
always underwater, they're always
buried, whatever, they're
Yeah.
underwater, car parked on top of them, whatever.
We get that a lot too.
You know, John's, his ought to go well. You know, because they're on the side of the house.
Yep, there goes that now.
There you go.
But they are a great thing. I know Pam and Neil, you guys haven't been around since the beginning. Like the water meter, the gas and electric are the same way. They're smart meters. They learn the way you use water. Unfortunately, it is a computer program and algorithm, so it doesn't catch them all. But we go out every day. Whenever our meter tech starts his day, that's the first thing he does. These meters, we can look at your water usage every hour of the day. They fill out leak alarms. So whenever he gets those, it'll be for continuous use any more than 4 hours at a time. Or any abnormal water usage. When I say they learn your water usage, they learn when your peak water usage is and when your low water usage is, and it'll throw out alarms to that as well. And then his first part of his day, he's looking at that, hanging door tags, letting you know, hey, you got a potential water leak. And unfortunately, the city, that's as far as we go with that. Our responsibility stops at the meter, so that door hanger is just to let people know that they've got something. They can either look for it themselves or hire a plumber to take care of that. And we really, it's been a great tool to be able to cut down on the high water bills for our customers. Instead of waiting until the end of the next month to find out you've had a leak, you're finding out.
Will electric be the same way? Do you think that they'll have will it learn your electric usage and suddenly warn you that, man, you're really using a lot of electricity or something?
We can do a chart. See when the usage goes up. If they have a question, we print off a graph and say, here, this is when your usage went up and stayed high.
Yeah,
If you have emergency heater on your furnace, stick on.
I've got a resident right now that came to me with that suddenly my electric bill went high and it turns out they got a heat pump and for some reason their emergency heat is on every time it kicks on, the emergency heat kicks on, it stays on. Where it shouldn't do that, if it's working properly, so
What the old meter right now is.
we don't know.
This is what the read is.
Yeah.
Going forward with the new meters, we'll be able to show the chart, print off the chart, so it is exact time it went up and stayed up, or.
Yeah.
It gives a history. Just like the water meters, it's gonna be a great asset.
It's neat.
Good data, it really is.
Nope, it's big.
It's the future. We've arrived, guys. We've arrived.
Langberg's there, huh?
We are. I'll tell my kids our water usage is up and when you get home.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good deal.
City Attorney Phil Snyder,
I have nothing to see.
Clerk Treasurer Thomas, you have a lot.
I got a lot.
Oh,
Every year at budget time, we budget a little, some funds to be transferred from the, cash reserve fund of the, electric, gas and water utilities into the general fund. And, what this resolution does is authorize me to do that for 23. We've already done it in the budget. The budget is set with that in there. So just need a approval and a number, right?
There's a resolution.
Resolution number, yes.
2024-04.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-04.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, and then every year we do a with the budget, they are just estimates. This ordinance would allow me to move money from one major budget category to another, from personal services into supplies or other services, services into capital or whatever. And at the end of the year, I give you a summary of what the items have been moved.
Yeah, it doesn't change the total budget, just like
I
you
would
move it,
never go over the total, but
just moves money within the budget.
Right.
And this is a annual event on.
Yeah.
We do this every year.
that would be 2025-05, 2024-05.
There you go.
He's moved the whole year on us.
Yeah.
I hear a motion to approve ordinance number 2024.
So we have to introduce it, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Motion introduced.
Okay, thank you.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion, motion to suspend the rules.
Make that motion to suspend the rules. Steve did, I'll second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Ordinance number 2024-05.
Make a motion to approve 2024-05.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to adopt.
Aye.
Kissling,
Aye.
Bounds, Ware,
Aye.
McFerrin,
Aye.
4 ayes, 1 absent.
Motion carries.
We are adopted.
You got the, so
And the other, I said I'd give you a copy of something for the prior year about, well, I had adjustments we had to make. that's what you have here, an adjustment to 2023-16, that ordinance. As you can see there, we just moved a few dollars between those two, between the major budget classifications. And that doesn't really, I just wanted to present that to you on a yearly basis. The 2023 financial statements, there are several that I want you to have. You already have the utilities financial statements, but what I printed off or gave you were the non-utility revenue and expense categories for all the non-utility funds, the balance sheets for all the non-utility funds, cash summary for all funds, and again, if you go through those and have any questions, just give me a call. But they're quite voluminous.
Yes, they are.
I did submit the annual report through the gateway system this last week, so that is done.
And that's available to the general public to look at.
That is,
You can access Gateway,
and has a lot of these same things that I gave given you.
It's just a summary of what happened for the 2023 and all accounts, so.
And
Very
that's
good.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.
You can't sleep at night, you can read this. It's a page after page after page of numbers.
I'm a bit of a nerd. I'll read most of it. probably. Unfortunately, I'm that way. Any other items? Any council items?
I have one question. I know we're going to the summer sewer rates and I know it starts on, I think it's May 1st. Is that correct?
I'm not sure, but yeah.
Yep, May,
sometimes
June,
it's
and July.
June, I think it's June, but I could.
And I brought this question up years ago and I forgot what we do. It's like, what if we want to add on August to it? Because it seems like the driest month of all the months is August, and that's when a lot of people quit watering their yards and.
We'd amend the ordinance to
Is that
include
all you
that,
have to do to
include
do
that.
I think it goes through.
I'm
I'm
pretty sure
I
it
think
does.
it's only 3 months, isn't it?
When's it
June,
start?
July.
I think it's
August, I think.
When's it start?
I think it starts in June and it goes through August.
I was under the impression it was
But
May.
if your bill is an August, September read, it includes that August, September period. Because I know that's happened to me before filling my swimming pool.
I was gonna say.
Oh, yeah, I'll wait till the swimming pool.
Pool's gonna be filled up earlier,
Yeah.
Mm,
but it is what it is.
Okay, that was just the question I had.
I'll get that number for you.
Yeah,
It says 4 online. 4 months.
Yeah, so it must be May through, June, July, August. May through August.
August, pretty sure.
those are 3
That
months.
would make sense.
Okay, very well.
Thank you. Any other council items?
Ordinance.
Uh, We have any citizens items? I think we have a couple citizens here, but this evening,
Dane's not here.
but I'll entertain a motion to.
Motion to adjourn.
Before we do that, we have them send out a reminder if we are in fact gonna do photos next meeting.
Photos. We'll get the
We're
photos.
set up
Yeah.
to do photos.
Yeah, we're set up to do photos next meeting. We just want to verify we don't have any conflicts. We are a little flexible on that. I know that council. We may have one council members that we'll have to do some schedule changes or make that happen, but that is on the 12th. I'll let you know whether it's prior to or preceding the meeting. Okay, just,
Yeah.
Do I hear, I've heard a motion
Make a
to
motion to
adjourn.
adjourn.
That's all second.
Okay.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign? Thank you.
You do that,
Meeting's
Tim?
adjourned.
Say again?
Would you?
Yes,
That's right.
it says on this, the summer discount will apply April through August.
April. April.
So meeting 6.
Yeah.
Okay. Very well.
The interwebs,
Yeah.
the internet.
We're still on TV. probably.
So who may not be resident, say you guys.
I